Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. As mentioned in my previous video, this is part 2 to all of your questions and answers. I shouldn't say all. There was way too many for me to get to, but as many as I could, I'm going to answer in this one. I have them written in front of me. If you haven't already, please like this video, leave me a comment, let me know how you're doing, subscribe, check out membership. If you do want to get a reading, it's dianeaquarius.com is my website. And just remember, I'll never solicit you for a reading. A lot going on with membership, and there will be a new tarot class, a 2-hour tarot seminar in December for those of you who just want to get running and learning how to use the tarot cards. And if you want more, there's, well, a whole playlist of classes and quizzes and tests that you can take too that I devised, which are kind of fun. I'm going to finish up this video with a 3-card pull, and it's going to be about timing. So like, when should I do this or when should I do that? That kind of thing. And it's Radleigh Valentine's Angel Answers. I enjoy Radleigh Valentine immensely. As you know, I'm actually in Cancun right now. So this is being taped Friday, and because I wanted to tape it before I left. And so I just wanted to let you know that this was being taped Friday evening before I did the 2-hour Meet Your Spirit Guide seminar with members. And I have a few more things coming out for you guys too. I have like a nice little Raphael channeling for everyone that's coming out. And so I hope everyone is having a fantastic Thanksgiving week. So let's get right into it. So Sharon S. asks an update on how Biden is doing. And, you know, we haven't looked at him for a bit. And I sort of always say the same thing, but I'm pretty sure it's for anyone that's a president or anyone doing his sort of job. I wish that, you know, like he would rest more. Not that I think anything bad's going to happen. I don't. But I wish that he would just take some time off if he could. You know, I always feel that way. About really just any president. I used to feel that way about Obama. Remember how Obama got all the gray hair? You know, it's a stressful job. It's a stressful job. Okay. So the first card is the card of joy and celebration, having a good time with friends. So wouldn't that make sense? Because, well, it's Thanksgiving week. And this is a time of joyful celebration for, I think, a lot of people. Not everyone, and I do recognize that. The holidays are not pleasant for everyone. I understand that. You know, some people are suffering loss. Some people get really depressed around the holidays. But we're looking at Biden, and he's looking at it as a good thing. The obstacle is, I think he feels like it's a little bit boring. Oh, see, here I am saying he needs rest. And he's kind of like, no, I don't want downtime. Downtime is boring. You know, the Knight of Pentacles, not much really happens with him, right? And his outcome card is being a strong leader, being victorious and triumphant and that sort of thing. So, yeah, so he is doing so far so good, right? I haven't seen any major calamities for him. His, you know, I know his astrology remains positive from what I've been told, and his cards remain positive. So let's just send love and light to our president. Cece asks, with the House now in favor of Republicans, what is going to happen now? What's coming up? Well, I think there's going to be a bit of turmoil, to be honest with you. A lot of disagreements, people going back and forth. You know, I think it's going to be a little bit miserable for a while. I mentioned that in my last video. I don't see that changing. Not for a while. Not for several months. Several months to a year. Okay? Because those indictments, you know, with Jan 6th and everything else, they're not going to happen right away. So we need to give that time. Okay? So let's just see. Let's answer Cece's question. So I make sure they get a really nice shuffle. Okay. Interesting. So this is actually like a real turning point in our democracy. It's a turning point in our politics. And it's where we start to come into our karmic destiny, our fate, which is what I've always seen as being 2024. So we need to get through this garbage, through this turmoil, because something better is coming. So everything that's happening now, to some degree, is like pre-fated, and it needs to happen because something better is around the corner. You know, sometimes you have to get through the bad to get to the good. The obstacle. We may be hearing a lot about money in the coming months with things that Republicans are doing or have done with money. And so keep your ears open, right? This is a page, has to do with money. And I would say watch the news, okay? Because we know indictments are coming, right? It's going to have a lot to do with money. But in the meantime, all of our politicians, good or bad, are going to be working hard, working diligently, working meticulously, doing their thing. That's what they do, right? Let's face it, that's not going to change. But like I said, look at this, a lot of infighting, right? So this is verbal arguments. How do we know it's verbal? Well, because the sticks aren't touching each other, right? The wands don't actually hit each other. And we know that they don't agree with each other, that they have different values, morals, and beliefs, because each tunic is a different color representing different ideations. So we're in for a bit more turmoil. But like I said, things are going to get better. Wait until 2024. I think it's going to feel like a brand new world. And we just got to get through a little bit more of muck and mire, but we've been through so much. We've got this. We can do this. Kenny asks, will Biden be able to move forward his agenda over the next 2 years? I think a lot of things. Every single thing, no. Like, you'd have to have asked specific things for me to read on. But every single thing, no, of course not. But some things, yes, some things are going to come forward. You know, I don't think we're going to make the progress with gun reform that we want. We may make some reform. I mean, we always make something, right? But it's nothing ever substantial. It's just usually something ridiculous. But we're getting there. So just not as fast as we want. It's just frustrating, isn't it? But we're going to rise above it, right? You know, like Michelle Obama always used to say, when they go high, when they go low, we go high, right? So, and I look at that in terms of vibrations. When their vibrations are low and, you know, they're in the muck and mire, we're going to rise above it. And I know some of us are tired. I know, because some of you're going to write to me, I'm so sick of doing that. I know, I get it. Hang in there. Don't give up before it gets good. Okay, so Biden's agenda in the next 2 years. So a lot of things will come to fruition, right? Because, you know, the Queen of Swords has to do with legislation, with laws, with legality. That sort of truth is fair and balanced, right? She's moral, she's ethical, she's judicial. So yes, that's wonderful. But there's going to be some issues. Like I said, not everything's going to make it through. So my second card's my obstacle card, my challenge card, my difficult card, right? So, you know, this is a great card. 3 of Cups is fantastic under normal conditions, but not in these conditions, right? So it's not going to be all parties and celebrations. Why? Because here we have the government doing what the government does. I mean, the government moves very slowly, doesn't it? And it's not always impartial. I would say that the Hierophant, unlike the Queen of Swords, is not impartial. He's not. He's a conformist. He's a traditionalist. He is religious. In a lot of decks, this is called the Pope card. So keep that in mind. But on the other hand, a lot of things are going to go forward. The Chariot is about going forward, right? And so going forward in a controlled way, because chariots don't go forward by happenstance. So legislation will be passed that, you know, some legislation will be passed that Biden is striving for, but not all. So make sure too that you guys, when you write me questions, that you are really super specific. So like if you wanted to know, well, this particular thing that Biden is concerned about, can you look at that? Because if you're asking a general question, you kind of get a general sort of answer. So it's like, yes, some things are going forward. No, some things aren't. There's going to be a lot of bickering, a lot of going back and forth. But some headway will be made. And what I think is that seeds are going to be sown for a better 2024. Okay? That's what I believe. Oh, I wanted to look at Hakeem Jeffries. He is favored to lead the House Dems after Nancy Pelosi exits. And, just a lot of gratitude, I think, from myself, and I know a lot of you, to Nancy Pelosi for serving her country in that position for so long and doing such a great job, serving under that many presidents, 4 presidents, even though she only says 3, right? Because she doesn't count 45. But, she's also not leaving us. She's still, she's there. She's still going to be a rep. She's not, just going to be in that position. But let's take a look at Hakeem Jeffries, because I have never, ever read on him. So let's take a peek at this man. And once again, this is being taped on Friday evening. So if something happens between now and then, who knows? But because like I always say, the worst thing about tarot is timing, right? Timing is terrible with tarot. Okay, so Hakeem Jeffries. Put in the comments everything that you guys know about him. What do you think about Hakeem Jeffries? What do you think about, having the first person of color in this position? I mean, it was wonderful to have a woman, that Nancy Pelosi was a first, and now we can have another first with Mr. Jeffries. So for him, he gets a card of celebration, a card of joy. All right, this card just made a comeback. But you know what, though? He's not without his enemies. There are people that are afraid of him, that don't like him. Oh, that actually makes me sort of like him more. That he knows who he is. He has an agenda. He wants to see things through. But there's going to be people around him that are backstabbers. He gets the Star card, which is one of my 2 cards for the U.S. The other one's the Empress. And the Star card is a card of wishes and dreams coming true, having hope and faith, having balance and harmony in your life. And it also represents the U.S. in my readings. So wonderful card to get. And then here he is working his magic, using his power and control in such a way that he can help to advance himself forward. So I would say it looks very good for him. I think he has a very good career ahead of him, regardless of whatever may happen. I don't think we're done hearing his name. And I am really looking forward to seeing him more on, TV and reading about him and listening to him speak. Vay T asks, the future of student loan forgiveness. Oh, that has turned into such a mess, hasn't it, Vay? I mean, it would help so many people. It truly would. And, I really think it's something that it just needs to happen. I mean, we have a whole generation of people that are saying, look, I can't get a house. I can't even have children. I can't do anything because I'm in so much debt. And the thing is, it's not that they took out a loan, they don't want to pay it back. It's that the interest is not reasonable. The interest far exceeds the loan. These people have paid off their loans, a lot of them. The loans were paid off a long time ago. It's this darn interest. Okay, so let's take a look. So a card of fertility, abundance, one of my cards for the U.S. So the seeds have already been planted. Okay, so Biden planted those seeds. They're going to come into fruition. It's getting delayed and all of that. Give it time. I know that's tough if you're the one making these payments. But that tells me that, yes, it's going to end up working out. But there's going to be those who passionately oppose it, right? This is in the obstacle position. Queen of Wands is very passionate, enthusiastic, excitable. And so there's going to be those that passionately, fervently, really oppose this and don't want it to happen. But let me take out the next 2 cards here. And okay, so we get 4 of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles. So this is, like a balancing act of money, because I mean, it's a 4, right? And 4s, like it takes 4 corners to build the foundation of a house, right? So that kind of complements the Empress card nicely. And then money coming from, like, say, young people, like for young, I shouldn't say from young people, for young people, right? Young people. people that have loans. Okay. So people were young. I guess what I'm trying to say, I hope this makes sense. Please tell me this makes sense. That people were young when they took out these loans. And so it's going to work out. But let me be honest with you. These cards are slow. They're slow. Pentacles are the slowest of the 4 suits. And there is no movement in the Empress card. This is actually the fastest moving card, and it's in the obstacle position. So just being real with you, do I see that's going to happen? Yes. Do I think it's going to happen soon? Absolutely not. And let's see. Hernandez asks, the future of Mexico. So right now I'm actually in Mexico as I'm, as you're watching this. And so I see a lot of good things for Mexico. Mexico is one of my favorite places to go. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I found Chichen Itza very interesting. Tulum, seeing the ancient ruins there. Actually, because Michael didn't get to go to Tulum the last time. So we're going to Tulum this time together to see those ancient ruins. It is hard because there was a lot of human sacrifice. So if you are like me and an empath and like a physical medium, you're going to feel it, not going to lie. But I mean, I adore Mexico. I adore the Mexican people. They're very open, kind, generous, really fun to work with. Like when you go on these tours, and that a lot of them have so little, but you would never know it. They're abundant in the things that matter. But one thing that I see, like I've said before, I do like looking out 20 years or so, is that I do see them cleaning up the drug issue, right? That's like probably one of the bigger drawbacks to that country, is that there is a drug problem that needs to be solved, right? These cartels are scaring politicians, the citizens, and, as a tourist, it makes you not want to go to like certain places. You want to be careful. So I do actually see that getting cleaned up. And when that does, I don't know why, but I've always seen abundance come in after that. Like financially, things get better for these people. So let's pull a few cards for Mexico. So I make sure they have a real nice shuffle. I did have a card jump out. It's actually the Page of Wands that jumped out. And so that tells me that it's in the works, right? There's planning, there's plotting, there's strategies coming up. It's in the works, Hernandez. Oh, I love this. Okay, so Ace of Cups. So, to me, this is a card of love and relationships. It's sort of like an ooey gooey card. And so, yeah, things are going to get better. And this is also a card, though, of not just romantic relationships, but making the appropriate deals and contracts that move them forward. Okay, so this is what they need to do. They need to form partnerships with big businesses, maybe big businesses in America and in other countries, and with politicians, other governments. And I see that happening. Their obstacle is that they have been stuck trying to balance their finances, right? I mean, it's a poor country, right? They've had their challenges for sure, but I don't see that lasting forever, because look at this. They are stronger than what I think people realize. These people have inner strength, inner courage, and they also have a certain amount of patience to be dealing with all of this. So I think good things are coming. Let me finish up. Paula asked, when do I see humanity starting to treat animals better? So that's something that happens definitely with 4th density. So as we get closer and closer to 4th density, we start to treat 2nd density animals, and 1st density, plants, water, air, all of that, we start to treat all of that better. So it's a little bit of a slow progress, but once again, in 20 years, I think it's going to be like night and day. And so you guys know how much I love my babies, my fur babies, that is. And I know a lot of you do too. And I think we're heading in the right direction, but let's pick a few cards for that. You know, I do think we're going to look back on how we treated animals, and, you know, like say children 20 years from now are just going to be like horrified. It's going to be very strange to them. But same way with how we also treat our water and our air and, you know, our climate, Mother Earth, Gaia. We're all connected. We are all one. You know, you treat one poorly and it's a ripple effect. You treat your fellow man poorly, same thing. You know, we are connected. Okay. So it's a bit of a battle, isn't it? Here's the Knight of Swords. It's a bit of a battle, but here's the other thing. We're starting to forge a new path. We're going on a new journey, a new adventure. We have the sword of truth, the sword of ethics, of morals right there. So things are going to get better in that. But right now, these animals are not celebrating, are they? I mean, there is a lot of suffering with animals that's happening right now, and we all know that. So it's going to change. Interesting. Let me ask my guides on this one. Queen of Cups. Okay, so my guides are saying that, first of all, this is an extremely emotional issue, okay, because they are completely defenseless. They're, you know, very sweet, loving beings. But also, too, there is something connected with aquatic animals with this. Aquatic animals. So animals that live in the water, marine life, that sort of thing. But things are going to have to come to a head first. Things are going to come to a head first. It's probably not going to be pretty, right? Because whenever we institute any major change, things have to fall apart first. But then we go through a rebirth and revitalization. So, I mean, what more can we ask for, right? I mean, other than that, it just goes faster. But at the same time, we're going in the right direction, okay? So let's finish up. Let me grab these 3 cards here. And so this is a timing question. Should I buy a house at this time? When should I get a new car? When will I meet Mr. or Mrs. Right? That sort of thing, okay? Take a deep breath, center yourself, and just go with your gut. Are you drawn to 1, 2, or 3? Okay, here we go. Card 1, within the next few months. Okay, so in terms of timing, give it a few months. So that would be into 2023. Card number 2, in the near future. So you can interpret that how you want to. You know, go with your instinct on what the near future is. But to me, my near future that I use when I do tarot is 3 months. That's my guideline. And then the third one says, it's not the right time right now. So there's something else you need to look at, you need to think about, you know, do a little introspection and reflection on this issue first, okay? All right, everyone, have a fantastic holiday, and I will see you all in a few days. Bye, everyone.